I mean, I think that clock is off, so.
Recording in progress.
Not anymore. They're high tech.
All right, let's go ahead and get going. All right, welcome everyone to Planning Commission. We're going to go ahead and start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I will lead that. Then we'll have a moment of silence or invocation led by Commissioner Ma. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our most kind and righteous and eternal Father in heaven, we come before thee at this time as citizens of this community and give thee thanks for our lives, for our freedoms, and for the opportunity we have to live here and to exercise our citizenship. We ask thee at this time that thy Spirit will be with us, that we will discuss and make decisions according to thy will and for the benefit of our community. We ask thee that we will be civil and kind one to another, and that as members of the community understand we are all part of this. We also ask a hand over those who protect us in the police and military, that they will be protected and guided by thy hand. We remember the freedoms that we enjoy and the sacrifices that many people have made on our behalf, and ask thee for thy hand in all that we do. And this we pray in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. All right, roll call. So everyone is here tonight except for Commissioner Neal. He is excused. So let's keep going. So I'm going to go ahead and read the opening meeting statement. All those attending should have signed in. I'm going to explain the process that the Planning Commission will use in making decisions and the rules that govern the agenda items or hearings. The Commission is interested in receiving public input and treating everyone fairly. In order to treat everyone fairly, it is important that everyone understand that the Planning Commission is governed by Utah state law and the Plain City zoning and subdivision regulations. These codes can be found online, which contain the criteria that the Planning Commission must follow in making its decisions. Persons making presentations or providing comments shall address the Commission from the podium or microphone and not from the audience. Persons shall state their name and address and will direct their comments to the Commission and may not directly question or interrogate other persons in the audience. The Planning Commission has adopted rules regarding outside contacts, otherwise known as ex parte communications. Commissioners are not to engage in communications outside of the public meeting regarding administrative applications. If you desire to speak to commissioners, it should be done at a regular meeting, so your comments, concerns, and evidence are on public record. So let's go ahead and disclose if we've had any ex parte communications. Let's start with Rob.
I did not.
Dustin?
No.
I got a phone call, I think Tuesday, from Steve Diamond. Had a lot of questions about the Marsh property and the cluster, well, the conditional use permit that they've applied for. He wasn't sure if he'd be able to make it to the public hearing, so I just encouraged him to send a letter. Let us know his comments.
Okay, great. Jared?
I was reached out to by Mr. Jake Weston regarding our ordinance regarding our ordinance on duplexes, as well as definition of a frontage. And I'll discuss that a little more, give you a little more detail on that.
And I forgot, he called me about that too, but he told me he was going to call you.
Yeah.
So it's on you.
Oh, thanks.
No problem, because I didn't know the answer. I hope.
Well, I'll go through my comments. I dove into the ordinance
Okay.
on that, and I'll tell you what I found.
Okay, super.
Okay?
Yeah, great. Okay, I did not have any. All right, let's go ahead and move on to public comments. So anyone that is here in person or online, and you are not on the agenda and have comments, now is the time.
Good evening. I'm Jonathan Grover. I am an attorney with Evans, Grover and Bynes. My address is 52 West Main Street in Tremont, Utah. I represent David and Thomas Favero, who own several parcels of property that abut the proposed river crossing subdivision, Phase 3. It's on your agenda tonight. They include parcels 150270030, 150270057, 1502734, 150270058, 150270036, and 150270004. The River Crossing Subdivision Phase 3 is seeking an amendment to its subdivision, particularly Lot 84, to create a proposed Lot 85. However, part of the proposed survey amendment incorporates land that is actually owned by my clients. It's identified as Parcel A on the first amendment, amending Lot 84 survey performed by Gardner Engineering for developer Jeff Hells. This property consists of an L-shaped parcel. There's a long-established boundary fence that's between the Favero parcel and the proposed Lot 85 that's on the survey, and it's present on the north and the east sides of this proposed Lot 85. My clients have not petitioned this body for the amendment, nor have they consented at this point in time to executing the pending survey plat for the amendment, which is required by UCA Code Section 10-9A 603 through 604 and 10-9A 608 through 609. If the survey plat were to be prematurely approved, it would wrongfully encompass property that's owned by my clients and force them to seek an amendment later down the road, since they are the true owners of Parcel A. In addition, I believe that the survey also has a couple of errors or missing information that this commission should have fixed prior to its adoption. The first is a bearing and distance seems to be missing on one of the lines. And the second is that the southern boundary of Lot 85 on the survey plat encroaches on the Warren Irrigation Canal property. The Warren Irrigation Company owns a 99-foot wide strip of property on the southern boundary. It's not reflected properly on the plat. Our position is Utah law requires that these corrections be made to the survey plat prior to its approval. My clients request that the plat only be approved on the condition that the landowner is willing to either execute a quitclaim deed to them for Parcel A. Once those corrections are made and the city approves the plat, the city should vacate Parcel A from the subdivision entirely. Parcel A should then be deeded to the Faveros, but recorded before the vacating ordinance and after any amended plat. Alternatively, the process should be to deed to Faveros Parcel A and the city vacate that parcel from the subdivision. Then the plat can be modified and leave the Favero property off. That's all that I have. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Is
It
this
was-
the first time you've brought this up to us? Have you brought it up with the developer previously?
So there have been some conversations. I contacted your city attorney on this week and had a conversation with him. He informed me that he wasn't going to be here tonight, and just to present my concerns to the commission, and then if you had questions, you could direct those to him.
But this river crossing was approved years ago, correct?
Yes.
And nothing's been said until tonight about this lot line?
Well, because this parcel that's being part of the new of the Phase 3, I believe it is, has not been part of the subdivision till now.
But the,
Lot hasn't,
all the
excuse me.
phases were approved.
Yeah, it was, I don't know how that can be true, that it wasn't
Yeah.
part of it originally, because it already had a lot number,
It had lot 85, I believe it was.
84.
84.
84, oh yes, because the proposal is to 85.
Right, so it was included originally clear back years ago when River Crossing was approved.
If it was, I'm unaware of that. Yeah.
Same here, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying no dispute was brought up clear back then.
So why now?
There is a dispute now because
You're
part of
saying
this
now.
property.
I'm saying clear back years ago in this neighborhood, when this development was approved,
Mm-hmm.
was there anything brought to that commission about this?
So
Good luck,
I know
Ryan.
my clients have been, and he can address this specifically, but I know they have been to several of your meetings, including the city council meetings, as development has been occurring around this area. I can't give you a citation to which meeting they actually attended to voice any concerns that they have, but I know that they have expressed them before.
It should be here and it's not there. It's recorded with the county.
Phase 3 was recorded to
Well, there's a concrete ditch.
phase 3.
This fence line just
220 to 24.
doesn't go straight.
Yeah.
Just use my mic, because you gotta be on.
Well, have them sit over at the podium maybe.
So I believe phase 3 was recorded on February
I don't
20th,
think so, but thank you.
is what I'm being told. Our surveyor.
That's the original. And so,
Yeah, it didn't include this parcel we're talking about.
So, I don't know if this matters, but this plat that we have, there's a note on here that parcel A is to be deeded to the adjacent landowner, who is Thomas Favero, but that's not solving your issue?
No, there have been conversations about having parcel A deeded to my clients, and I believe that there's still an agreement to do that. Our concern is that parcel A is listed on the plat, so if and when my client ever decides to develop his property, he'll have to come in and amend the subdivision plat for this particular subdivision because he was identified on that plat with his property.
The plat I'm reading says this is, parcel A is not approved for development at this time.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah, we're not asking it be,
Way to give it to the adjacent landowner without it being part of the subdivision?
I don't know. We have to talk to our lawyer about that, yeah.
So that's your concern? You're okay with him getting the land, you just don't want it to be part of the subdivision?
correct, yes.
Yeah, we want it resolved, but we want it resolved in the right way. This procedures to get it the right way.
And when you were giving your talk, sorry, some of that legal stuff just goes over my head, but you had a resolution of how it should be done?
Yes, we do. And in fact, we have a surveyor here tonight, Ernest Rowley, who has, I think, put it together a really good procedure for this to happen if the commission decides to move forward with this plat amendment. And he could address that this time. Any other questions that the commission has for me? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, are there any other public comments?
excuse me, Ernest Rowley with Landmark Surveying. I don't know if on your agenda during the legislative items, is there going to be opportunity to speak at that point? That's, okay. So I will do that here if I can.
And who are you
So-
with again?
Sorry,
Who are you with again? What firm?
Landmark Surveying. It was mentioned that, by Mr. Grover, that I have some information related to a process of being able to get parcel A out of this subdivision. so that he can have that as a single parcel and not have to come back to the city to do a plat amendment on this particular subdivision later in time. That information or knowledge comes from my experience as being county recorder and county surveyor for a number of years. To remove this parcel A out of this subdivision, it would be required for the city to vacate that parcel A out of the subdivision. That's the only way that it can be removed or taken out. So whatever the processes are that you go through, a vacating ordinance is necessary to make that happen.
Good to know.
Okay.
No questions? Okay.
Nope, thank you.
Tom Favero, 1295 North, 4700 West. I'm the adjacent landowner. I'm fine with how we're doing this as long as we do it in the procedure that my professional people want it done. If it doesn't get done that way, then I don't want to have it resolved tonight because we're going down the path of a half-cooked meal here. I want it completely done when we get it back, so that at a later date, we don't have these hurdles to stumble through. And I'm fine with it, other than we want to do it in the procedure that it needs to be done. I'm tired of spending money on my own property over and over and over again because somebody done something earlier in time, and then we end up costing us down the road when we want to do something with it. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other public comments?
Planning Commission?
Yes.
Yeah, real quick, off of this amendment to Lot 85 or 84, whatever number they want to say it is, but we just need to make sure that we also look at the development agreement and make sure that that follows what we're doing, because it states in the developer's agreement that that the lot's not to be subdivided. So when they're trying to, where Hales was saying come up with another lot, 85, and in my opinion, that what Tom was saying, to just separate it completely from the subdivision would be probably the best way to do it according to the development agreement. But yeah, we just need to make sure we follow that. And that was my question with doing this amendment. What does that do with the developer agreement? Do we need to come up with another one? Does that void that out with changing that? So just
So are you saying technically it is subdividing it to change the lot line?
well, because the way Hales was saying is that lot 84 and then lot 85, adding another lot with doing that subdivide, we're basically breaking what the development agreement says, because it's not to be subdivided. And so taking it completely out of the subdivision would be the cleanest way to follow the development agreement.
But it's not being, it's not being subdivided, it's just changing the lot number because they're taking that parcel A off and then hopefully vacating it. So I'm not sure how that's subdividing.
Well, changing the amount of lots on there, like I said, we just need to make sure that we're following the development agreement, and that would be a question for the attorney to see if we need to come up with another development agreement, have another one wrote up.
Thanks, Dan. Okay. Please come up to the microphone.
What Dan's saying is, he thought you were taking and giving me lot 84 and making a new lot 85, because there's restrictions on 84 where it's supposed to be a single family dwelling on the 6 acres that's
It
Now-
says right on here, Lot 84 is a single-family residential lot and cannot be subdivided any further.
Right, and you're just keeping 84. You're not making
It's
85.
renaming it because you're taking some off.
Right, and staying 84. Okay.
Okay.
But I don't know what legally that all means. So,
All right. Any other public comments?
Sorry, I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding about lot numbering. And just give me 1 second. So on the original plat, it's lot 84. The reason that we're creating a lot 85 is because we're overplatting lot 84. And in the county's records, in plat amendments, they don't like seeing duplicate lot numbers. So lot 84 is just going to be extinguished and gone and will no longer exist and be replaced with lot 85. And the parcel A being vacated out complies with the new requirements of lot line adjustments under state code.
Thanks. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on to approval of the minutes from last planning commission.
did you make the changes that I sent you and everyone got a copy of those? Loose, and then that my okay, maybe I didn't see it come through, so, and I just have my old one, so I just making sure that everyone else saw it, that's all I.
Okay.
All right. I'm ready when you guys are.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting held on August 22nd, 2024.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, technical review, we did not have. Do we have another technical review scheduled? Nothing? Okay. We'll talk about Parker at the end. Is that all right? Okay. All right, moving on to legislative items. First up is the subdivision amendment for River Crossing Phase 3. Jeff, if you're ready.
Jeff Hales. I reside at 5355 West, 2150 North here in Plain City. Here representing the Marriott family requesting the lot line adjustment, which has been talked about. And everything that they're talking about is exactly what we're trying to do. We have no problems with it. I think some of the people that commented, maybe Ernest and the attorney Bynes, weren't privy to some of the things that we're trying to do as far as the quitclaim deed. Tom, the landowner, was out there and set the stake where he wanted it to be. Our surveyors were there and surveyed it according to where he wanted it to be. That's created parcel A that we're talking about, which is now going to be part of an existing tax ID number so that it will not be part of the subdivision no longer. So in that legal description for that parcel has a legal description, and it will have also and including the legal description of this parcel that we are deeding to Mr. Favero. So I think that solves that problem. We're totally in agreement with whatever, just to get it to him. This won't be a part of lot in the subdivision at all. Lot 84 will be abandoned. Lot 85 will now be Lot 85 that we are now amending. And then when we do our developers agreement, which Dan had mentioned, which states that lot 80, now 85, will take the lot of 84 that cannot ever be further developed. And it records the same time as the Mylar does for the plat. So, yeah, we don't have any problem. I don't know what all the talk about. We don't have any problem. As far as the canal goes, the canal is where the canal is. You can't change the canal. It exists where it exists. And if you follow that canal, both the north and the south branch, and follow it to the west, there is not one property line that lines up exactly where it's supposed to be with the canal. It doesn't even, when it comes through my place, it don't even exist where it shows the canal to be. But we don't care because we know where the canal is. It's obvious, you know, so we don't care. We have a prescriptive right to maintain it, to operate it. The ownership of the canal is touch and go through the whole thing. And so we as the Warren Irrigation Company aren't worried about where that line is on the canal or where it is in connection with the canal. We have policies in our bylaws that states if they fence the canal, they're responsible for it. If they fence off of it, the Warren Irrigation's responsible for it. We have all these things covered. So whatever their concerns are, we have no problem. We have no problem making them happy or whatever. The Marriotts are just saying, hey, let's make it right. It's been like this. And so the reason this now come up is because we had it staked. So that'll answer your question, is because we had it staked. So when you have it staked, then all of a sudden the awareness of where it is and what people claim their ownership is now very visible. So once we staked it, that's what brought it up. You can't tell by a plat and looking at a plat where the property markers are until we stake it. So we're totally in agreement. The Marriotts are in agreement. Greg Shepard, who's the buyer of the lot, and Tom are working things out to where it needs to be. Tom just wants to make sure that when he decides to do something, that this little sliver of ground doesn't create a problem with him. And if we make it a part of a lot, part of the tax ID number, also including, it shouldn't ever exist. Now, Ernest can address that if I'm wrong, but I'm just saying, we think we've got that problem resolved, which is in the quitclaim deed, which possibly you haven't seen. But whatever, we're fine. We're fine with it. We're totally okay with it. So whatever questions you got that I can answer, or
Well, it looks like you've satisfied all the review comments from our
Yeah.
engineer, right? And he's recommending that we recommend this to city council.
Yeah.
So,
and on the Mylar, it says that we'll change it to 85 now, on specific notes where it says lot 85 can no longer, so it's actually on the recorded plat, in addition to the developer's agreement. So it'll be lot 85 now instead of 84. So
maybe that's what they were referencing, that we have to change on the developer's agreement, so it's clear that.
yeah,
yeah, because we're looking at a developer's agreement dated, at least the one, Tammy, the one that you sent us is dated February 20th,
Yeah, earlier this
2024,
year.
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So, does that need to be amended?
Yes, right?
We just change it from 84 to 85.
To 85.
You know,
Okay.
so,
Do we need to mention anything about the Plat A in that agreement?
So,
It's on the plat, so the plat is a legal document.
so based on that though, do we feel comfortable that by separating parcel A, it's no longer in the subdivision anymore?
I kind of am. I don't see any substantial evidence why it wouldn't be.
Okay.
Especially, you say it's going to get its own parcel number
Mhm.
at the county, correct?
It's gonna be added to the north tax ID number of the property, the north one, Tom. And it will say also and including, and then include this parcel. So whatever that north tax ID number is, this will be a part of it. So it won't be identified as parcel A. And I think that's the problem that they're having, is that happening.
I mean, my feeling is I think we should move forward on this tonight, and if the city needs to take the step of vacating, then we should figure out how to do that.
That would be a separate action.
Yes.
Yep, if we find that it's needed.
If it has to be vacated.
Right.
If it has to be vacated, that's the question. Because if you incorporate it in an additional tax ID number, according to our surveyors who checked with the county before they done it, because Ernest had basically said exactly what the county told us, you can't amend a lot and have that lot the same number after you amend the
Right.
plat.
Right.
And so
When the lot to the north gets changed, that's gonna affect that one as well because of the new area that it's.
yeah, so the new plat, when you record it, has a new legal description,
Right.
which incorporates
Creates new lot.
this description for lot 85 now, which does not include the parcel that we are eliminating. If
Gotcha.
that makes sense.
What other questions do we have? Anyone?
I don't have many.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure
No, I feel,
procedure is exactly, but, I mean, I don't have a problem with
I don't
what's
think
being done.
anybody's against whatever procedure
No,
it is.
yeah.
no, and we could always, if it is a problem, which it hopefully won't be, we could look into vacating it to resolve that as a separate step.
Right.
Okay,
This is what I thought, was the amendment does that. I might be wrong, I'm just saying. I was thinking the amendment does that, because it's not recorded. Right now, it's just raw ground.
Right.
Nobody knows, because it's not recorded yet. So Tom's saying, do the right procedure so that it's done right. Well, nothing's been done wrong yet, because nothing's recorded.
Right.
So if we meet what concerns they got and we fix them, then we record it, it all should be good. Nothing's been done wrong yet. We're just trying, our surveyors, the county have directed us a certain way, and so we've done it, and I think maybe with all the information with Attorney Bynes and Ernest, I don't think there's a problem here.
Okay.
Just because it's Greg, Shepherd, and Tom got together to resolve the issue. So,
okay.
I have a question totally unrelated to the other stuff. On this development agreement on the last page, it's an addendum. Do you know, was that always part of the only reason I'm asking is because it references a PRUD, which we don't even have a PRUD anymore.
no more, but this was actually approved. The preliminary plan was approved under a PRUD.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
That's why we had to
Yeah.
have this big lot,
Okay,
because
that was the trade-off.
yep, that was the trade-off. So in that PRUD, there was supposed to be so many half acres, so many quarter acres, third acres. And if you didn't do that, you still had to come up with the same amount of lots, so that's why we had to have this big lot.
Gotcha, okay.
Because of that. You're
Okay.
right, the PRUD's been abolished, but this was approved under that.
Okay, perfect. That was my only question.
Okay. All right, then I think we're ready.
So is this a recommendation?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll make a motion that we recommend the subdivision amendment for River Crossing Phase 3.
I'll go ahead.
Okay,
That's
I'll
almost
take it,
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so now we'll come back to the city council.
Right.
When we do, I will have made contact, made
Perfect.
sure that,
And it sounds like our legal's already working on it, so.
you know, based on what their concerns are, we've taken care of them. For the most part, I think we have. And if we haven't, we will.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, moving on to the subdivision amendment for Hunter's Run. I don't know if we have a representative. Oh, perfect.
And Jeff handled the first deal. I'll handle
Right.
this one. So I'm Amy Ross Kelly. I'm with Marriott's. This one's pretty cut and dried. We met with Dan Schuler several months ago to kind of try to figure out how we get Hunter's Run off the books. And this was the solution that we came up with, was to basically do the same thing. I mean, I probably could have answered the question of vacating parcel A on the last plat of when you do this and then you re-amend the subdivision, it just goes away. So that's what we're doing with Hunter's Run. We're taking the parcel that the retention basin was sitting on that's no longer, it was never used, honestly, giving you guys a new access to the lift station that's there, and then amending that lot into a couple of extra building lots. We don't own the property to the west, so that's why we did the half-road construction, so that we could still get improvements in to be able to sell those lots, so that we don't have to worry about maintenance on those, which we all know has been a problem. And then as that property, you know, either sells or Heslips get ready to develop it, then we can go in and we can put the remainder of the improvements in. So a couple of things I wanted to just address on your engineer's notes was the fencing. We would like to not have to put that in until we can talk to the people who are going to be buying the lot adjacent to it. Usually what we've done in the past is agreed to put a fence up at a certain price per foot, and if they want to upgrade to a different color or, you know, something else, then, you know, they can pay the difference on that. So we'd like to be able to you know, just have in the notes that we will do that, you know, when that time comes, so that we can work with the homeowner of what fencing that they would like to put in. So we're not putting up a fence and then them tearing it down or not matching, you know, what they want.
So that's the lot with the temporary turnaround on it, that you'll wait until that property is sold
That
before you
one,
put the fence?
that one we can actually do chain link on, because we would
Okay.
probably want to do ag separation. But the other lot, the actual lot that will be recorded on the north side of your guys' new access, that one we'd like to wait until we know what the homeowner wants for fencing.
So 201 is the Skeens, and 202 you're waiting.
Nope,
No?
Skeens is actually 19. They're in phase one
Oh,
of Hunter's
19.
Run.
Okay.
These two lots are the parcel A that was the detention basin.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Yeah. And then on the paving of that, we'd like to be able to do that when we pave the road.
Okay.
So if we can just defer, you know, those couple of things.
Okay,
would be
so
our
this
only
kind of
ask.
line right
That dash line.
here is where the road's gonna be paved and then go to dirt,
Yeah.
right there?
No, this is what the engineer's asking to have paved is your guys' access.
Oh, gotcha.
This is all gonna be an actual dedicated street. So this
Okay.
will have to be paved.
Okay,
This one, we're just asking to wait to pave it until we get those improvements in.
gotcha.
The plan is to get this developed right away, you know, but generally what we like to do is let it sit over the winter months and pave it in the spring. We just don't want the expectation of we get this built and, you know, we can't pave it, so we want to just be able to do it
You
all.
might not have a chance to with the workload that these asphalt paving companies have.
Yeah,
Or they
that's why I
shut
was like, I
down in
just
the-
want to make
In the
sure
fall, yeah.
that you
They don't
guys
like
are
to do-
good with us deferring that when we do it, and so that we're not having to get a paver out there twice.
So that falls under the things you have to kind of get Public Works to agree to, correct? Like, because he's the one who signs off on that?
Yes.
Yeah,
We have to escrow the amount of the,
Yeah.
whatever's being deferred,
yep.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It'll all go in the escrow, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clear. If, like, you know, we're doing the ask, but it just will be down the road.
Yeah, I'm good with that, with having the road base in there and until, you know, winter's over and everything starts opening back up. Amy, the one thing that looking over this, the one thing that I think that might have been missed, to help clean this up, can we get a utility easement over that sewer main that's out in that field? In case we have to get into it, and that way we're not trespassing on somebody's property.
Sorry, it's hard to hear. Did you get a utility easement into the turnaround
Where-
area?
No, where the sewer main goes up outside of the road onto the adjacent property to the south, can you put a utility easement over that sewer main that goes up into the lift station? So that way, if we have to do any maintenance on that, we're not on somebody else's property without an easement.
Is that on the south side of our roadway dedication?
It's on the south side of our lift station access. Outside of that.
Okay. Yeah, so we just need to add an easement. And you're sure it's outside of that?
Yeah, from the drawings that I've got in front of me, that's what I'm seeing.
I'm not sure exactly where.
Yeah, I don't know what drawings you're looking at.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at it too, Dan.
I've got the sewer main that runs down the new section of the road, and it looks like it's on kind of on the west side of that new section. And then the sewer manhole is out in the field, and then it goes straight to the east up into the lift station, but it's outside on somebody else's, it's outside on another piece of, another parcel. And so where it goes up to the east, where the sewer manhole's at, that junction manhole, I just need to get an easement over that sewer.
Okay, I see where you're looking now.
So, Dan, south of the manhole, is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, the manhole, because we'll have to get into it to clean it, but the manhole and then the sewer
Yeah.
main.
Yeah. That's where I'm at, in the south of that.
That's not on our map. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I think, Dan, what we could do is, it'd be really easy to, just on this temporary turnaround, just add a description in there that we do a temporary public utility easement there. And then once that road develops, it'll just be dedicated right away anyways. If you guys are good with that.
Going up into the east from the manhole, that'll be, because that'll be another parcel where a property owner will be at, correct? Because the turnaround will go away and then that'll be another lot.
Sorry, I can't hear him.
A little muffled, isn't
I'm
he?
having a really hard time understanding what you're saying, Dan, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're okay.
So you're saying just continue that easement to the east to your lift station?
Yes, so
Okay.
then that, if we have to do any repairs or have access to that sewer main, we're not trespassing on somebody's property without an easement.
Okay, yep,
Okay.
understood. That makes 100% sense, so, yeah. So we're basically, that sewer manhole that I just showed you, it actually goes to the east and then crosses your lift station property. So we're just gonna add an easement in there for maintenance.
Okay.
Easy peasy.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
right.
Thanks for working with us on this. It'll be nice to be done.
What other questions do we have? Anyone?
None for me.
Okay. All right. I think we're ready.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So this is a recommendation again.
Yes.
And what are we're just recommending the amendment.
Yes.
Make a motion to recommend the subdivision amendment for Hunter's Run.
Do we need to put it's contingent with the,
Yeah, you just
An easement and
continue with
stuff?
easement.
We need
And in the
to
garbage for the
recognize that there will be an additional easement put on the plat for access to the sewer line.
Yeah, works. Can we get a second?
well, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Right. Report from city council.
So I totally did epic fail that night, but Rob covered for me, so he's gonna
Nice. Thanks, Rob.
report. Thanks, Rob.
Let's see. First, they had the conditional final acceptance of the Palmer Heritage subdivision. And they had a problem with the storm drain, so that was denied.
Say what?
Do you remember the Palmer Heritage subdivision?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that Cody's?
Mm-hmm.
That was a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just coming up last time, and they went and checked. There was no storm drain. It was like a half. I don't know. Maybe Dan has some.
There were no storm drains installed?
Well, he could, install one on 2600 because it, floods out every time we have a rainstorm. And I told him that we needed to have some drainage there, and shows a storm drain box, and he put he core drilled into the curb to get into the pipe underneath, and just dropped a 1-inch PVC pipe down in there. I said that's not going to work. I need to have.
It'll work for maybe a few minutes in a major storm, right?
Yeah, A for effort, I guess. But yeah, we need to have a box put in there.
It is a drain, and it is going to the storm drain. Okay. Wow.
So what was the motion that they had there?
I have down that they moved to deny it. I thought they'd table it, but they denied it.
Did they table that, Dan? Do you remember?
Yeah. They just they denied the conditional final, and because I've got it on the punch list, and so I just need to reach out to Cody and just tell him that they won't accept conditional until that storm drain box is in.
This is only for the east side of the road, not the west, right?
It's for the whole subdivision, Palmer. Yeah, and the curb and gutter is included in Palmer, and he did have that sidewalk on there, but that property no longer exists. We took that off of that.
Did you remove the sidewalk on the west side?
Yes.
Why'd they do that?
That property no longer exists. It is Jim East's property. They had that so that little foobar on that section of property, it affected the two subdivisions by with having that sidewalk in there. But like I said, it's once if Jim ever sells, then at that point, then the city could look at getting that section of property or something.
It's that section that he won't let us have enough property to build us to put sidewalk in.
So you just eliminated it down that whole side?
I think at this point, we'll have the homeowners that are going in for the subdivision put the sidewalk in front of their homes, and then that way we have something to tie into in the future, not knowing where that's going to end up going. So
the homeowners are going to be responsible for the sidewalk, not the developer?
Negative. No, the developer's going to put the sidewalk in.
Okay.
He's already,
Just to a certain point, like we approved, right?
yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you said that the sidewalk down that whole side was eliminated.
Just on the side of Jim's house.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just that little piece. But from back of his property all the way to North Plains City Road will have sidewalk on both sides.
One of the new lots. Yeah, just in front of the.
Okay.
Because Jim doesn't own the property past, that's somebody else's property.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. Next was the re-final approval for Freedom Estates, and that was approved. Then we had a trade. We're trading a truck we're getting I guess we're getting the truck, and we're trading for some fence panels.
Is that the Seeger with the
Robert
Seeger family?
Seeger, yeah. So we're giving him some fence panels and he's giving us that red truck.
Wow.
No, that's reversed.
Oh,
We-
reversed.
Yeah.
We're giving him the
I know
truck.
what you're saying.
Yeah, he's giving, okay. I said it wrong, but yeah. Oh, and then, yeah, that was about it. Mayor mentioned he's trying to get Colin Ray for the 4th of July next year. That excites you?
Sweet.
What was that again?
Mayor's trying to get Colin Ray. They might have booked it already. They had to book it soon, Diane said. But that's why they went cheap this
Dude.
year.
Love that guy.
He is
That was
pretty
good,
good.
yeah.
Could be good.
So all the country fans are very excited. The rest of us are confused, and we're probably good for Plain City. So
You'll be a.
Sammy's like, "News to me."
bandwagon
yeah,
for you.
and as long as most of the residents are happy, I'm happy. So okay, and that was it.
Okay, thank you. And next is Dustin. Are you good for that, or do you need somebody to fill in?
Oh, next week?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm good, yeah, should be
Okay.
good.
awesome, thank you. All right, let's move on to commissioner comments. Let's start with Jared.
All right. I had a conversation with Jake Weston about where exactly a duplex was allowed, and how it would be done. And then also he asked me about regards to how you define frontage in the ordinance
In particular,
on a corner lot.
Ooh.
And that's a toughie. And so I tried to dive into that a little bit, just to see, what we had, and I'm trying to pull up my.
This is random, but I just barely read the definition of frontage on a corner lot.
Did you?
it makes it sound
verbiage-
like it's both.
It wraps around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where Jake's coming from, that it wraps around
Yeah.
both, and I'm like,
It says that.
well, that's not the intent.
It's not the intent, but the verbiage.
And so,
It says frontages. Is that
yes.
what it does?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
And I said, the gist of it is that you have one side of that meet whatever the frontage required for the zone you're in, and then you take it from there. But I could see how you would interpret it the other way too. And for that matter, duplex is also, it shows up in A1 zone, I can find it there, 2-family dwellings, and it shows up in single-family residential R111. That's it, that's all I can find in the ordinance. Both of those have it defined. So does that mean only for those zones are duplexes allowed?
And in subdivisions, right?
It's not listed.
It's not listed
I
there.
thought we
I
said
thought
up
there
to
was something that
10%.
said they could have so many.
Yeah, up to
percentage.
10% of a subdivision can be duplexes. Or is that's not in the cluster ordinance? That's in,
I did not find that.
Normal ordinance.
it says that, right?
I did not find that in there when I looked. So I searched duplex, and that's what I mean,
About multifamily instead of duplex, no?
no. And so, and I think the council, when I was at city council, suggested we try and look into that maybe we need to pull
We
this
need to
out.
clean up the definition no matter what.
Clean it up on that, and also maybe clean up on the front, particularly in that condition.
Is there a
because-
way to moratorium a definition?
Although,
Well, if we open it up for discussion and we're doing it, then yes, that's what,
Okay.
we'll do that. However, if we want to do that, we should do that
Now,
promptly. So, yeah.
would it look terrible, though, if a duplex had an entrance onto each street?
well, we don't allow single homes to do that.
Would
No,
would
and
look
that's what
terrible?
would, no, we restrict them on a corner lot, so we allow it only on one side, on the frontage
Having
side.
said that, I walk past a house every Sunday when I go on my morning walk that
I
has.
see them all the time too. And they've put that in there, and I guess that's up to whoever polices it to stop it, but.
But it has to, I mean, the garage that I'm walking past is big enough, they had to have gotten a permit.
Right. Huh.
So what you're saying is we probably ought to look into changing the
I think so. You ought to
definition.
look into it, and I think the council would appreciate that, so.
So just curiosity, though, it could also be interpreted that the frontages on each side still have to be 150 feet. I mean, it doesn't say combined
Right.
frontages.
That's what I told Jake. I said, you could take that and say 150 feet both sides.
Yeah,
And I'm like, I don't think that's right, and I don't think that's the intent.
you could construe it to mean that as much as,
Absolutely, could, as much as combined is 150. Yeah.
So that's the discrepancy, is if it's just on one side, or if you can consider both sides.
Right.
combine it together to add up to your 150.
I wouldn't
Right.
have even thought of that.
Right?
But I
They're
can see
just
how
trying,
you-
they're just trying to find a lot that they can do a duplex on, and there's.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but
you thought
based-
that might be an answer.
Based on that, every corner lot would have 150-foot frontage, right?
Absolutely.
Every single one.
And
They
is-
might not all be true a half acre, and that's the other.
And is that right, you know, are we, I mean, if we allowed 100-foot frontage, then yes, I would say absolutely you can have a entrance on either side.
And then you go
So-
into the, how many other duplexes are already in that development, because you can't do more than 10%, right?
So I think we need to pull it out and look at the duplexes of what we allow, and if we need to have a separate ordinance that says for duplexes and dictate what zones we'll allow it in and what standards, because there isn't much.
So right now, it can be in any R11, 15, 18,
I don't know. That's what I'm seeing.
Sounds like he's only seeing an A1.
single family.
Yeah, I only
A1
saw it
and
in
R111.
R111 single family and A1, A2. That's the only two places I found it.
So in theory, it can't go in the.
So I was telling Jake, in the way I read it, even though I don't believe this is right, those are the only two zones you can have it in. But that doesn't seem correct to me either. So that's not.
Because we've put them in other zones, right?
We have.
Yeah.
But we
So
should.
can we just put that on the agenda next time then, and
Yeah.
Okay.
outright?
Can you put that on there to talk about the definition of frontages and to talk about duplexes and zoning? Multifamily.
Okay.
Is his lot a true half acre?
I don't know. He didn't show.
Yes.
Okay. It is?
When he called me, he said he had found one that was a true half acre, but they didn't have the frontage. But when he read the definition, he thought, and then he said, because I told him to call Trent,
Yeah.
and then he said he was gonna call you.
And Trent said to call me.
Oh, okay. That was nice.
No, I would imagine duplexes we're gonna start seeing them more, I
I
think.
think you will, sir. I think you will.
So it's good timing to
Yeah.
get it locked in.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay, Shauna?
I just want to state for an official record that I'm really unhappy about the Utah state flag that's flying in this room. I think we should use the traditional state flag and not this new one that's very controversial, how it even came to be approved. It was not by the voice of the people, it was ran through by a legislature coming from California trying to redesign our flag, and I'm not happy about it. So I just want that on the record.
Great.
I don't mind that.
There you go.
We should bring that up to city council. See what they,
Maybe Dustin
they
wouldn't
say.
mind bringing it, but it's up to you, 'cause it's-
Is it in there? Okay.
yeah, I think it's
Maybe I missed
terrible that that's what we're flying.
I just
because
searched for
I
duplex.
can promise you that there are
Pulled
people.
everything I could find out. Okay.
Well, and they worded it to make it maybe sound like we were required to, but I know that it said that you can use both, either.
Dustin?
No, I don't think I have anything.
Rob?
Nope, nothing else.
I don't have anything either. I did. I can't remember. I'll bring it up next time. Okay, I think we're ready.
Motion to adjourn?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Good job, Rob, way to be on the spot.
Oh, I remember what it was.
Recording stop.